welcome to our special 4th of July edition of Barnstable Today. Very excited that I can't believe the 4th of July is here. Megan, when you grew up in Barnstable, what was your favorite tradition for the 4th of July?
Well, my favorite was definitely going to the Barnstable Village and going to that parade, and then going to the Hollow after and having those fun games in the pie eating contest.
Oh yes, that's right. They have the games at the Hollow. That is very exciting. One of the things I remember, they do the pole. Don't they grease the pole every year?
That was always the big challenge, trying to see if you could get the money, but I never succeeded.
Well, this year the theme of the Hyannis 4th of July parade, and I think the theme of a lot of the celebrations happening around town, is celebrating 4th of July the Barnstable way. And I think we have so many traditions here in the town of Barnstable. But you got a chance to sit down with the Hyannis 4th of July parade coordinator, Megan Kenny.
Yeah.
So she got to tell you a lot about that parade, and what did you learn about in that interview?
I learned a lot of safeties that we can do with throwing candy or passing candy to children now. That's the new trend.
Yeah, definitely can't throw that out.
Yeah, and definitely like all the bands to look forward to and all the other trucks and exciting things to come.
Awesome. Well, let's go ahead and take a listen to that interview with Megan Kenny talking about the Hyannis 4th of July parade.
Thanks for joining us, Megan. So let's talk about the parade this 4th of July. What can we expect before the parade?
So my favorite part about the Town of Barnstable Parade, that it's in Hyannis, that you can basically spend all day on Main Street. You can start at the walkway to the sea. Well, my advice is find a parking space, go down, have some breakfast. There's tons of shops. You can do shopping, have some lunch, lots of eating. And there's tons of activities for the kids. All the Main Street shops will be open. We have a trackless train. Kids love trains, so that's really special, and that's right on the Village Green. And then I would find a viewing spot on Main Street. The parade route is on Main Street, and it's kind of fun because it's from Ocean to Sea. So Ocean Street to Sea Street, you can find some great viewing spots. I love to tell people to go on High School Road in Maine. That's where the grandstand is, that's where the announcer is. So you can hear a lot about some of the parade entries, and also at the beginning of the parade, we have the Barnstable Police Department Honor Guard and the Hyannis Fire Department Honor Guard, and they stop at the grandstand, and Hyannis Sound actually sings before the parade, and they sing the national anthem, and it's just kind of a nice way to kick off the parade, and then the parade really gets started. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, and it's 4 o'clock sharp, and it's actually rain or shine.
Perfect.
So, yeah.
So for those people who are coming, who can they expect to be the Grand Marshal this year?
So the Grand Marshal, we actually have Chief Harold Burnell, retired Chief Harold Burnell, who's been such a huge part of the Hyannis community for over 40 years with the fire service, and he actually grew up on Bursa's Way, so he's been a huge part of the library. He was actually one of the honorary people for the Father's Day car show, and so it's just a great opportunity to really kind of honor him for his commitment to Hyannis, and he really has worked tirelessly for the village of Hyannis, so it's nice to be able to honor him.
So for those coming to this great parade that we have every year, what would you say are the best viewing spots and some safety rules or regulations for kids that are coming? Yeah,
so definitely the best viewing spot would be that spot by the grandstand. There's some shade there. I like to find a shady spot, but really all along the parade routes, it's nice because it's basically a mile long, so you really can find a good spot. It usually does pile up, 3 to 4 deep, so like I said, I would get there early. But also safety, just remember that there is candy, but it's being passed. There's no throwing anything from the vehicles, so parents just really need to be aware that, some of those bigger floats and bigger vehicles, they can't see the little kids, so you just really have to be aware of that. But yeah, it's always a fun and it's always a safe parade, so I'm looking forward to that again.
So what's like super special and unique about this parade, or like what's the theme that people can like get excited for?
So this year is, we joke it's a 4th of July theme, but this year we did Independence Day the Barnstable Way. So I think the Barnstable Way would be really celebrating, all of our diverse community, all of our incredible shops and restaurants. I think people are going to be really excited to see some of their old favorites and also some of their hopefully new favorites. We have Mike Dumas, who leads off the parade. That's the first big float. Mike Dumas and Platform Soul, and they do such a good job. I wish that they could go twice, but the truck is too big. So I wish that they could go twice because they're so good. And we have marching bands. We have a stilt walker. I'm not going to give you all of the surprises, but there are some really, really good things this year.
Can you give us any hints as to what type of bands will be in the parade this year? Or
Yeah, absolutely. We have a couple of rock and roll bands. We have an Irish pipe and drum band, or fife and drum band. BHS marching band will be there, of course. Another favorite are the Harbor Hawks. They're not a band, but they're one of the favorites.
The baseball team.
You can see the baseball team representing before they go to their game at YD.
So are there any fun things to look forward to, like during the parade or like even post-parade before the fireworks and everything?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the parade we try to make it about an hour long just because sometimes you don't want it too quick and you don't want it too long. But right after, immediately following the parade, there's a free concert on the Village Green with the town band, which is kind of fun. It's just a beautiful, clean spot to just kind of just take a load off. You can set up a little blanket and have a little just a little kind of a chill time before you go down to the fireworks. And the town band does such a good job, and you can really hear some patriotic music. So during the parade, you'll hear a lot of contemporary and classic stuff, but the patriotic music is awesome on the Village Green, and that's a free concert, so come enjoy that. And then you can just do the walkway to the sea and go right down to Azleton Park, where we're going to have the band called Funktopus. They'll be in the parade, and then they'll also set up on Azleton, and they'll play the pre-fireworks show. Fireworks are at dusk this year, and WCOD will be broadcasting live, so there's plenty of opportunity. If you need any more information, you can check the town's website. All of the information is clearly posted there. And if you have any questions, you can, the emails are all on there. So if you have any questions, just refer to the town website.
Especially for fireworks, because if people want to find out, they should definitely just go to the
rec
site.
Absolutely.
And don't call the firehouse, right?
Don't call the firehouse. So it's all on the town website, and even the other village parades are listed, all the information. They have a great tab on the town website.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining me. This was Megan Kenny, the Hyannis 4th of July coordinator.
And of course, as we discussed earlier, the Hyannis Parade isn't the only celebration for the 4th of July here in Barnstable. We have parades all over. You mentioned
Barnstable.
You loved the Barnstable Parade.
Cotuit in Centerville. I remember being a Girl Scout walking in that one.
Yeah, very exciting. So we actually, if anyone is interested, we have a full list here for you of all the activities happening in the town of Barnstable on the 4th of July. And did you know, Megan, that you could actually come to the 4th of July, come to Hyannis for the parade and stay for a lot longer. You could stay through the entire fireworks display because there's so many things to do. I got a chance to talk to Melissa Hirsch, Arts and Culture Coordinator. She told me all about some really great free concerts that are happening at Azleton Park. So you could technically come to Hyannis and stay for the entire fireworks display.
And then even throughout the summer, there's going to be summer concerts throughout, I think, every Friday or
that's right.
a few days a week.
That's right, at Azleton Park. Love those free concerts. So, of course, let's go ahead and learn more about that with Melissa Hirsch. Melissa, I cannot believe it's almost the 4th of July.
I know, the real summer, right? Summer starts.
How exciting. So we get to enjoy lots of fun. We definitely talked a little bit about the parade with Megan Kenny, the parade coordinator. Very excited about that. But there are all kinds of other activities as well that are happening in Hyannis around the 4th of July. Talk to me about what kinds of live performances we can see.
Right, well, you heard about so many of the bands that are in the parade. And then after the parade, immediately following on the green, the town band plays, Barnstable Town Band, and that's just hometown charm at its best.
Now, talk to me a little bit about the town band if you can. They perform actually every Wednesday on the town green throughout the summer. So if maybe you can't see them on the 4th of July, you can see them at some other point.
Absolutely, they play every Wednesday at 7 o'clock till right about 8:15, 8:30. The program changes weekly, so it's coming back week after week with your blankets, your chairs, a picnic. You can stroll down Main Street before, after, or down to the harbor, but I just love it.
And those are free to attend, right?
Free, absolutely free, and there's such a wide range of musicians, from 16 years old to probably 86.
Awesome. And so cool to hear that the program changes. So right after the parade, they're going to be performing on the green. That's a special occasion. Very excited about that. And then are there performers that are going to be performing at Azleton Park before the fireworks?
Well, funny that you should ask. Yes, there are. The town band plays from 5 to 7, and then from 7 to 9 is the pre-fireworks concert at Azleton Park. So you can continue along the walkway to the sea, hit Azleton Park again, bring blankets and beach chairs, and just settle in for a great show. This year, I'm happy to say it's Funktopus.
Oh, very exciting.
And it's very family friendly, free. They have a great show lined up. They are so excited to be performing, and they are just nonstop funk and soul and jazz, and really, bring dancing shoes too.
I think this is exciting because you could really head to Hyannis at the beginning of the day, find that great parking spot, and you could hang out in Hyannis and be entertained the entire day. You can watch the parade, you can see the town band, maybe grab some dinner, hear Funktopus, and see a fantastic fireworks show.
There you go. And the fireworks show, Funktopus leads right into, helps the crowd do the countdown at 9 o'clock, usually right on the dot, for the fireworks to start. There's several viewing areas also right here in Hyannis, whether you head to one of the beaches or Azleton, even on the Village Green, you can see some of the fireworks from there.
Good to know.
And iHeartMedia helps broadcast the soundtrack. So if you're at Azleton Park, you'll hear it right there through Funktopus's sound system. But anywhere else, you can tune into 95.1 WXTK and hear the whole show.
I love that.
Yeah.
When they
it
coordinate
makes such a difference.
It really does. When they coordinate it with the music, it is something special. It really is. I think the 4th of July is something really special here on Cape Cod. I've lived in other places in the country, and I don't think that it's as much of a festivity as it is here, and I think it's probably my most favorite holiday.
Well, that's wonderful to hear.
Well, thank you for stopping by and telling us all about what we can expect, where we can see live music. We really appreciate it. And of course, we should give a plug too. If anyone's looking for activities, always go to artsbarnstable.com.
Absolutely. You took that right out of my mouth, Sarah.
Well, thank you, Melissa. We really appreciate it.
Thanks so much.
Our guest today, Melissa Hirsch. She is the Arts and Culture Coordinator here for the town of Barnstable. Thank you for joining us for our special 4th of July episode of Barnstable today. When it comes to holidays like this one, it's really important to consider some safety issues as well.
Yeah, for sure.
So we actually got a chance to chat with Deputy Chief Matthew Sonnabend, who gave us some really great advice on how to stay safe for this holiday. So we're going to go ahead and take a listen to that. So 4th of July is a busy time here on Cape Cod. Everybody wants to be celebrating the 4th of July in Barnstable, I think.
Everybody wants to be on the Cape for the 4th of July. I want to be on the Cape for the 4th of July. It's a great day. Oh, by the way, thanks for allowing me in your studio. This is the first time I've actually been here.
I can't believe it.
It was like the inaugural visit.
Can you believe that? That's crazy.
Yeah,
well,
it's
we're
great.
glad to have you here.
Well, I appreciate it.
So
Appreciate
let
it.
me ask you this. When it comes to the police force, Richard Barnstable Police, do you have additional staff on hand on the 4th of July because it's so busy and so many people are here?
And that's a good question. Yes, we do. It's one of those holidays that, you know, when you get into police work, you pretty much expect to work Christmases, Thanksgiving, and 4th of July, especially in this part of the country where it's such a big event. And especially locally here, we have so many events throughout the day, it really taxes the staff sometimes. So
Well, that's true because you have parades starting at, I think, what's the first one? Is Centerville the first one in the morning?
Well, you get Barnstable, the Barnstable, West
Okay.
Barnstable parade's right about 9 a.m. right down there on 6A. And then you go to the Centerville parade's about 10 a.m. And then you have Catuit, which has grown a lot over the past few years. It's a really big event, great event. Recommend anybody gets to any of these parades. But Catuit's next, and then in the late afternoon, of course, you get Hyannis. And then you get, there's a boat parade, and the fireworks, obviously, and Funktopus out on the main stage out in Azleton Park.
Very fun. So lots of people are going to be flocking everywhere. There are some street closures for the 4th of July, is that right?
There are, but they vary. They're not like all-day closures. They're not. They kind of move around town a little bit, and they're really run jointly with the different parades. So obviously, when when the Barnstable West Barnstable's having their parade down on 6A down by the courthouse, that little section of 6A is blocked off. We do have detours up and running. We have police officers staffing those, guiding people around. And then once the parades are over, generally once the last vehicle of the parade goes through, then the roads get opened up and traffic just kind of flows in behind. To follow that, though, along some of these parade routes specifically, especially Barnstable, West Barnstable, and Hyannis, there are parking bans that people need to be aware of. So a few hours before those parades start kicking off, we go through, we make sure that people are not parking on the sides of the street because you have different floats and different parades, may drop candy, or little kids are obviously on the sidewalk and they run around. And to make it easier for these parade float operators, you don't want to have some little kid darting out from behind a parked car. It could be, we don't want to ruin a 4th of July for anybody.
No,
so
we don't. Definitely.
Safety.
Yeah.
Safety.
So speaking of safety, do you have any tips for individuals? I mean, I know really we are not legally allowed to have fireworks if we are residents.
Well, then we should have no problem with that, right?
But that isn't always the case, is it?
No, as everyone knows, fireworks are still illegal in Massachusetts. But we do know that people do get their hands on them. And all we would ask that if, it's going to happen, be very, very careful. They're not toys. Little children should not be playing with them. And it really only takes a moment of inattention to someone can get hurt. So be very careful. We know people are going to do these things. We would discourage it because it is illegal, but it will happen. And just use caution and a little common sense. A little common sense goes a long way in these circumstances, and a little tolerance of others as well. We are going to have, as you asked earlier in the segment, we are going to have extra staffing on people's days off get canceled. A lot of it's centered around these parades where we have officers manning traffic posts and everything else, especially around the fireworks where there's street closures down here on South Street, around Ocean Street, and conducting foot patrols and mountain bike patrols. So they're tied up. A lot of these officers are tied up in those areas. And with these events, people have to realize there's a lot of extraneous traffic where the roads are clogged. So it may take us a little while to get to some of these incidents. So although we do have the extra staff, and especially the fire department too, a lot of vehicles on the roads means our response gets a little bit delayed.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't even think about that. All I was thinking about really is people getting home, and they need to have more patience.
Yep.
I know a lot of people start getting upset. They start sort of honking at each other. So if you can come with your patience and know when you leave the fireworks that you're going to have that longer wait, it might help everybody sort of get through that.
Absolutely, and have a little consideration. If you're going to be having parties, consider your neighbors. The noise ordinances, the fireworks, all that stuff still remains in effect. The noise ordinances don't go away. So just indulge with safety and a little consideration with everybody else.
Try and be a good neighbor if you
Exactly. Be a good neighbor.
Now, let me ask you this question. Are there extra or do you see an increase in the number of driving under the influence arrests or citations, so to speak, during the 4th of July?
It kind of comes and goes. Honestly, a lot of these holidays like the 4th of July, people tend to stay put. They're going down to the beach for the day, or they're at somebody's house for the day. They tend to carpool a little bit. They're walking. It's a big walking holiday around here because you'll get people parking all these different parking lots and walk down to the beach. There really shouldn't be any alcohol down at any of these town celebrations. It's not allowed on the beach. Please don't bring it down there. Safety, safety, safety. But there is the potential out there. You know, there really
So definitely
is.
plan ahead and make sure you have a designated driver. Maybe, like you said, share a ride, walk to where you're going. So all kinds of options to avoid those issues.
Taxis, transit, anything you do not be drinking and driving. That should be the rule of thumb every day, not just on the 4th of July, but every day.
And anything else you think is important for our viewers to be aware of as far as the 4th of July goes?
Have a great time.
Enjoy it. But
Enjoy
safely.
it safely.
Awesome. Thank you so much for stopping by. We really appreciate it.
Well, thank you very much, and have a great day. And happy 4th of July.
Yeah, happy 4th of July. Our guest today, Deputy Chief Matthew Sonnabend.
And up next, we're going to look at the parade schedule one more time.
Lots of fun activities to choose from on the 4th of July here in the town of Barnstable. And Megan, you're a lifeguard also for the town of Barnstable. So on top of your internship here, you're also working as a lifeguard.
Yep.
Do you notice a lot of people heading to the beach on the 4th of July?
Yeah, Craigville, especially if you're going to Craigville, make sure you're there before 11:30 because the parking lot completely fills up and you won't be able to get until like after 4. Just really make sure, like, no ball playing, no kites. You know, make sure you're staying hydrated because you don't want to like fall asleep on the beach and get a bad sunburn. But yeah, especially Calumet, people need to be aware that that parking lot will not be open. It's going to be only handicap accessible. In addition, vets, a lot of people like to get there early and grill. So make sure if you want to get there, it fills up really, really early in the morning. And just be aware of your surroundings, be smart, be safe, try to make it easier on the lifeguards. Because we want you to have fun and we want to have fun. So
Exactly. Everyone, I think the key of this part of the show today was definitely like have a wonderful, fun, happy 4th of July, but
Yeah.
at the same time, make sure you're staying safe and take care of yourself out there.
Yeah, because as long as you're happy and we're safe, then you're going to have a great day.
It's all good. Well, thank you for joining us today on this special edition of Barnstable Today. We really appreciate it, Megan. And thank you for joining us for this special edition of Barnstable Today. We'll see you right back here after the holiday.